Good morning. Today is a pivotal moment in Furman's history. It's the culmination of months and months of thoughtful work and reflection by the Furman community, including students, faculty, staff, alumni, the Task Force on Slavery and Justice appointed by Provost George Shields, and the Special Committee on Slavery and Justice appointed this fall, a board committee appointed this fall by Board Chair Alec Taylor. At this time, I'd like to ask the trustees who served on the special committee if you would please stand and be recognized. And also, I'd like to recognize any members of the Task Force on Slavery and Justice who could be with us today. Would you please stand and be recognized? I'm joined today by Dr. Baxter Wynn, trustee and chair of the board's Special Committee on Slavery and Justice, and Deborah Allen, a member of the Task Force on Slavery and Justice, and beginning in July, director of Furman's Center for Inclusive Communities. Each of us will make brief remarks and then take questions from our gathered campus community, and then we'll be happy to speak to the media following this event. Before Dr. Wynn talks about the board's decisions related to the recommendations of the special committee, I want to emphasize a few important points. This work and our resulting actions represent our commitment to telling the complete story of Furman's history, to be true champions for an inclusive future in which everyone feels a sense of belonging and has the opportunity to succeed. Our work these past months reflects our reckoning with a difficult past. Many universities across the country have had or are having these conversations. Conversations such as these raise many emotions. Sometimes campuses are able to weather the proverbial storms that arise and emerge much stronger communities. Other times, universities become more fractured. While we still have more to do, I'm encouraged that we have gone about this work with humility, a listening ear, and the overarching goal to emerge a stronger community than when we began. I cannot fully express my gratitude and appreciation for the task force and the special committee and the hard work and outstanding dedication they showed to getting this right. I know Board Chair Alec Taylor shares these sentiments. He sends his regrets that he's not able to be with us this morning. Finally, I want the entire Furman community to know how seriously the board took these decisions. It was an educational, if not transformative experience for all, especially the special committee. Several trustees shared personal stories of their experience as students at Furman that profoundly affected them. Some good, some not so good. Those testimonies and the substantial work of the special committee convinced our trustees to unanimously support the special committee's recommendations that you will now hear from Trustee Wynn.
Thank you, President Davis, and good friend Elizabeth, all the same. And thank you for being here. The fact that there's a full house here really indicates that you understand that this is an important conversation that Furman is a part of, and I thank you personally for being here today. I also would like to acknowledge and applaud the work done by the members of the task force and the special committee, the Board of Trustees and students and faculty and staff and alumni who shared their voices along the way and expressed their views very openly and offered their expertise in a variety of ways during the process. The task force and the special committee approached this endeavor with a very clear understanding and appreciation of how important this matter is to Furman. And so they took time, probably more time than some folks wanted us to take, but we took time and great care, and were dedicated and thoughtful and deliberate both in developing a process for their work, that is the task force and the special committee, and then in considering and forming the recommendations. The Board of Trustees was committed to giving the recommendations that were under its purview a high level of very careful consideration. Before discussing the specific recommendations, I know that's why you are here, I want to share just a bit about the board's special committee on slavery and justice. For you to know that the members included a diverse group of trustees who are alumni and friends of the university, all of whom share a very deep love for Furman. And we began our work with the Seeking Abraham report itself and kept it very close by. We returned to that report many times through the months for guidance and inspiration and for information contained there. But we also conducted additional research and information gathering. We met with members of the task force and other internal and external experts. We also interviewed current and former trustees. Members of the special committee shared personal stories. President Davis mentioned this. I want to mention it as well and note it and highlight it for all of us. The kind of sharing that I'm referring to did not occur over the first few weeks or even months of our work together as a committee. The kind of sharing that I'm talking about took courage and a deep level of trust. And for many of us, this was a highlight of the entire endeavor, hearing these personal stories by some of our colleagues who were students here at Furman. And these shared personal experiences, both to the committee and then to the entire board, as President Davis noted, these stories inspired us, and they confirmed that we were doing important work and good work for Furman today and for our future. And that indeed we are helping Furman to be and to be perceived as an open and inclusive and diverse community where all students have the opportunity to thrive and all students have the opportunity to feel like they belong and that they are welcomed and part of the fabric of this university. I'm most pleased to share with you that after conversation this past Saturday at the Board of Trustees meeting, as has been mentioned, and conversation that included the sharing of these personal stories, that the board did vote unanimously in favor of these recommendations. And here they are. Creating a day of celebration and a statue of Joseph Vaughn, Furman's first African-American student, and placing the statue in a prominent, comprehensive place of celebration and reflection on campus to help tell the story of Joseph Vaughn's and others' important contributions to Furman's history. I'd like to add that at the end of our recommendations at the Board of Trustees meeting, the recommendation was made by one of the trustees who was not on the special committee, and it was approved unanimously that the board will provide the lead gift for the construction of the Joseph Vaughn statue and place of remembrance. Next, honoring Lillian Brock Fleming and Sarah Reese, Furman's first female African-American students, in that same prominent, comprehensive place of celebration and reflection, which will contain the Joseph Vaughn statue. The university will also explore naming programs related to their fields of study and their connections to Furman and to the Greenville community. Next. Can you see the bell tower? I'm not looking over there. Is the bell tower? Can you see it from here? That beautiful walkway leading to the bell tower. Naming that walkway the Abraham Sims Plaza, in recognition of Mr. Sims and other enslaved persons who built and worked on Furman's various campuses prior to the university moving to its current location. Changing the name of James C. Furman Hall to Furman Hall, in honor and celebration of the entire Furman family and all of the students and faculty and staff and alumni who have contributed to the history of the university. Naming the Lakeside housing area the Clark Murphy Housing Complex, in honor of Mr. Murphy, an African American who worked for decades at the Greenville Women's College, which, as we know, later merged with Furman University. He was a much beloved figure in Furman's history. Working with the Furman community to develop and place signage and markers around the campus to better tell Furman's story, Furman's history. And continuing to review our investments to ensure best practices related to environmental, social, and governance principles, and with input from the entire Furman community, the various ways that Furman presents itself outwardly through its mission, vision, value statements, and its motto. Finally, on behalf of the special committee, I want to express to President Davis and to the Board of Trustees and really to the entire Furman community our sincere and profound gratitude for the opportunity to serve on this committee. It was a wonderful experience, indeed an honor and privilege to serve Furman in this capacity. Thank you.
Good morning. It's an honor to be here with you all this morning. I would like to continue words of gratitude and thank the Board of Trustees and Special Committee, along with fellow task force members, for the hard work and commitment which culminates into today's announcement. I am thankful for those in our community who have lifted their voices and contributed to this extraordinary time in Furman's history. As someone who works so closely with students, I think daily about the impact these decisions will have on their sense of the university's commitment and action toward a more inclusive future. What do students ultimately want regarding diversity and inclusion? What do they expect from their university? I've posed these questions to our students many times, and the common thread is to live in a community where they feel heard, that their experiences are important and affirmed, and where they have a sense of belonging. To further assert the impact these recommendations have on students, I'd like to share some direct quotes. One student states, "Personally, this report has given my experience more purpose. I am dedicated to following the task force and being an active part of it as a student. It has given me mobility to seek out my own endeavors in bringing visibility to Black history on campus." Another student writes, "It has made my decision to attend Furman one of pride. As a Black student, I know that Furman, as most universities, has a history of slavery, but because my university was willing to research this matter, proves the integrity of Furman." When asked why it is important for Furman to think critically about its past ties to slavery, another student states, "It is the only way to create a different kind of Furman, a better one. One that is not only focusing on diversity and inclusion, but one that is empathetic and willing to commit towards justice and liberation. Furman has the opportunity to become a Southern institution of education that breaks the social expectations and assumptions placed in society. Strategically, it has a choice to change and walk on the humanitarian and right side of history." Some students, faculty, staff, and alumni do not see themselves in the university story. These members of our community know what it means to live in a place where their experiences are not represented, physically or otherwise, throughout campus. These approved recommendations will begin to shift our story to one of truth-telling, representation, and reconciliation. It is important for all students, faculty, staff, and alumni, and the community at large to see the physical representation and tell the university's full history while reflecting a broader experience and making all feel welcome. Success will require the participation of all. The students must lead the way. There is quite a bit of work already underway by students, faculty, and staff in the curriculum, programming, and administration, such as the expansion of the Joseph Vaughn Scholarship. And those efforts are celebrated by the university. We must move forward and know that this work is never complete. Efforts towards diversity and inclusion are ongoing, but I believe we are righteously moving in a direction toward inclusion, equity, and justice. Thank you. We will now open the floor for questions.
I think it's safe to say that there aren't any pressing questions at this moment. But there may very well be over time, and as we all have indicated, this is work that, well, let me say this, today marks the beginning of a new era at Furman, and there will be questions that will continue to arise and challenges that we're going to face, and we're going to all do this together, as I indicated, with humility, listening to each other, civility,